Belize Action, which is an organization comprising of churches, ministries, and concerned citizens across the nation of Belize, held its second Family Focus Forum this past Wednesday at the Parish Hall in Belize City. The event was held to raise greater awareness and inform Belizeans on UNIBAM's agenda of suing the government to have the sodomy laws removed from Belize's books. A panel of professional speakers spoke on 5 different areas pertaining to the homosexual lawsuit, specifically the religious, medical, legal, scientific, and social consequences. Pastor of St. Mary's Anglican Church and President of the Council of Churches, Reverend Canon Leroy Flowers, spoke on the religious aspects.
One of us here tonight need to understand why we are engaged in this fight. This is one of the many sins, except that in this particular one, it is a part of the laws of the land, which helps to protect our human dignity. That is what it is. And they are seeking to change that, and therefore, we are the messengers. Every one of us here tonight need to understand why we are engaged in this fight. This is one of the many sins, except that in this particular one, it is a part of the laws of the land, which helps to protect our human dignity. That is what it is. And they are seeking to change that, and therefore, we are the messengers of love. We are the messengers of reconciliation. We are the messengers of the light, and we are messengers of hope. Now, for that, above anything else, we need to tell our people that wrong is wrong. You and I, in this stance for Jesus, must know what it is that we are standing for and how, because if we aren't careful, we will become just like those who we are seeking to redeem. Okay?
Attorney at Law Otto Saldivar presented on the legal aspect, saying that the law preserves, promotes, and protects a society.
A state which refuses to enforce Christian beliefs has lost the right to enforce Christian morals. Now, I say that to say this. We all know that England has no written constitution. In fact, in England there is a sovereignty of Parliament, so whatever Parliament says goes. This is very much different than what we have in Belize. We have a written constitution that, by and large, is supreme. Our Constitution, in its preamble, states expressly that as Belizeans, we affirm the supremacy of God. And within our own Constitution, not only do we affirm the supremacy of God, but one of our national symbols is our national prayer. The great majority of those who live in this country called Belize accept that man must be monogamous. Belizeans believe that. That's a Christian virtue. But even a non-Christian is bound by it. The law preserves the values and principles that are enshrined within the Constitution, because the Constitution is the manifestation, reduced to writing, of the will of the people. The law promotes the values that we as a society hold as a common bond between us, that connects us, keeps us as a society together to ensure our continued survival. That's what the law promotes.
Saldivar continued by saying that it's no hate speech to say that the Belizean society will not accept a homosexual agenda, as our society was built upon ideals that acknowledges the supremacy of God.
If morals could be taught simply on the basis that they are necessary to society, there would be no social need for religion. It could be left as a purely personal affair. But morality cannot be taught in that way. Loyalty is not taught in that way either. No society has yet solved the problem of how to teach morality without religion. So the law must base itself on Christian morals and to the limit of its ability enforce them, not simply because they are the morals of most of us, nor simply because they are the morals which are taught by the established church. On these points, the law recognizes the right to dissent, but for the compelling reason that without the help of Christian teaching, the law will fail. That is the argument. That is the legal argument. That is what we as a Belizean society from the time of our independence in September 21st, 1981, accepted as the constraints we will live under. When you are born into any society, you have what is considered accepted constraints. If you are born within a secular state with Christian moorings like Belize, there are certain lines that you cannot cross. You have freedom to a certain extent. Those are the accepted constraints. If you cannot accept those constraints, you're also free to leave. Free to get on a plane, buy a ticket, catch the bus, get on a boat, and go.
Next to present was medical doctor Frank Zamora, who expressed in his opening that as doctors, they are against conditions that add detrimental consequences to the life and well-being of their patients.
Multiple studies have shown that the homosexual group suffer from a high incidence of mental problems of many different natures. The main ones: depression, anxiety, phobias, fear, suicide. And they have also found that they carry this problem from a very young age into later in life. Now, one of the arguments presented against or in favor of decriminalizing homosexuality is that once homosexuals are free to express the way that they live and their culture and all that, that they will no longer be afraid. They don't have to live in fear because of the stigma and violence and all that. These have proven to be just a theory, because studies done in Amsterdam, that is probably the most friendly gay place in the whole world, that the gay lifestyle have really mainstream in a big time there. The study of this group shows no lesser amount of psychological and mental problem than any other group, meaning that making homosexuality legal doesn't change in any way the mental problem that this kind of patient have to live with. So as you could see, homosexuality, it is a very destructive way of life. And if we have any love for those that practice it, instead of pushing them away, we need to learn to love them. We need to learn to reach out to them so that we can explain that they are losing their life. We are commanded by God to bring life, so we need to bring them to them in genuine love.
At Wednesday's forum, Vice President of COLA, Giovanni Brackett, expressed that they are not in support of UNIBAM.
As the Vice President for COLA, I want to say that we do oppose this stance by UNIBAM, and we say no to homosexuality. I would like to say that we live in a good country that they can walk freely, but when you want to legalize this sadistic behavior, it's a whole different matter. And I would urge Christians all over for us to take radical stance and let us oppose this invasion.
Other presentations were done by Director of Belize Action, Pastor Scott Sturm, President of the Evangelical Association of Churches, Reverend Eugene Crawford, Plus TV's Director Louis Wade Jr., and Professional Counselor Tom Sharp of Child Development Foundation. The Supreme Court case is scheduled for December the 5th, 2011, and Belize Action is planning a massive rally in Belize City on November the 3rd, which is 2 days before the actual court date.